school, Nigerians are not welcomed in most of these countries. And when you check the comments, you saw that even Kenyans are supporting South Africa that Nigerians must leave.
It saddens me to still find out that there are still Nigerians in this present day and time who are hypocrites without shame and still come out to ask, why are Nigerians being chased out in all countries? Wow, 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 wow. And on the other hand, I've got my brother from Ghana, Kweku, who actually drew a very in-depth analysis as to why Ghana must exit Ecowas. Guys, a lot was being said in this video, which at the end of the day, I would love us to take a look at it without sentiment, emotions, and bias, just the way we do it here. Because you see, on here, we don't do sentiment, no emotions, no bias, no favoritism. And don't think that I talk or speak on behalf of Ghana, in respect to Ghana, South Africa, and all these other African countries because of favoritism. No, I do that because I know the truth and I stand for the truth. And because I understand that the truth is bitter, but must be said any which way ever, anyways, right? And without any further ado, let's quickly delve into this video. Please, I need you to pay attention to details, listen carefully and attentively. And let me correct a nation here. If you are a viewer and at the end of the day, find this video really uncomfortable, it means you don't really understand the objective of, making these videos. It is for a common understanding, right? Proper understanding of the underlying issues between Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, and the other part of the world, right? Because it still seems as a nightmare to most Nigerians why they are being chased out. So when I bring up topics like this, it's not for controversy, it's not to trigger emotions or what have you, but at least let's listen with maturity. I believe we don't have underage here. So I don't want this situation where it will seem as though it's to trigger whatsoever. But when you see them on all these platforms making rounds and people buying into this narrative, if a Nigerian does not come from the angle of a Nigerian to address these things, most times it sells, and it sells on the wrong reason. So that's why I personally, Civic Inspirations, I always bring them out here. Let's trash it without sentiment, emotions, and bias. Now, with all this being said, quickly like this video for my sake, share, stay subscribed, and let's watch the videos.
Let us examine the reasons. Keynes, watch the space. Let us examine the reason. I'm going to show you why Ghana must, and I say Ghana must exit ECOWAS. And this is why. Let us examine the reasons why we believe Ghana must strongly consider exiting ECOWAS, much in the same spirit that the United Kingdom exited the European Union through what? Through one individual called Nigel Farage in Britain, campaigned vigorously for the United Kingdom's exit from the European Union. His campaign was anchored on the argument that the decisions being made in Brussels were not democratic. Okay? Go and research. Britain, a free European Union. In the same spirit, we are telling the leadership of this country, let's begin and consider the needs. We have to leave ECOWAS. The British people said Britain must leave where? Unfree European Union. And for so be so, Natobeka said the whole European no. Point no more to say one more shock and as absorbers and as when we dimupa ye can't as we the European Union. Britain and now so almost in Nipeku and on Maya, we consider say no, we want to European Union. Now why and all this are the and your government, one individual called Nigel Farage. Go and check. Nigel Farage in Ujina vigorously campaign said Britain must leave European Union. Now, baby says reasons Ben or they can answer way. As part of this long struggles, Nigel Farage consistently campaigned against Britain adopting the European single currency, as well as against the push for what? Open borders for EU framework. Or the campaign again, or the campaign. Or say borders na yebe bien basa. I feel so said the whole European Union yeba be this to the sense that the Queen of England niti these were some of the things that you see at the campaigns of Britain and yet the free EU. Now, Britain resisted joining the euro, but it's remained tied to the EU policies. When the European migrant crisis erupted, the issues Farage had warned about began to make sense, even to many of his opponents, giving greater weight to his argument and fueling the movement that ultimately led to Brexit. Ebra no year campaign, nipa bebre ante Nigel Farage asiye. But Ebra adebi started say confronting the British government, ohona bebre tia say debi asema papa ye okay ewu hia na se ye den ye de kwa dwendwemu afi won mu a kaseti a Nigel Farage na de o manu twi form na nyoma na oye den all campaign e bi ni say e bi the migrant crisis and na say na e won say because of European Union inti amanfrafo na adi trada ewura Britain say no ye English for ye ntimi ntrase na ye makwan e masabe amanfrafo e mbehye ye man mu o e meye nyoma ensam fata. Nigel Farage the campaign say or the shall say or the migrant issues and the borders are ye bi and ye can say there is a fight between Ghana and say ye ne Burkina Faso border no so ayehye pa e kwa be mu a ye ne ye correspondence or Sahel region obedi nkomo ye can say twa border aflawo border any other borders are entry eduro Ghana ni na ye porous. But officers say Ecowas entebane entitled in your ye Rollins time yet it it was only until this your so-called intellectual presidents, whatever they call themselves, no my bio na Ecowas na den asiasem kwa enuni ene ya Nigerians ebe ha wo de yensa ebe wo yeni no. Britain migrant crisis became the center of the discussion as far as Nigel Farage was concerned. Now the British right-wing movement were deeply concerned about the growing powers of the European Union. At the time, there were strong calls from pro-EU advocates for Britain not to fully embrace the Union, but also to surrender certain sovereignty powers, including even proposal that Britain's army be placed under European Union command structure. Now, in Nipakubia from the right-wing movement for Omini Brie. Now, right wing for no quite a point, and I'm saying no Montini maybe I say, but the more Montini maybe I say who say, hey, now say that EU neighbor call, then it means that the EU no Britain joining automatically Britain is going to surrender all her powers, including the British army under European Union. Now say, hey, yeah, the right wing movement stood and started championing the same campaign as far as Nigel Farage was concerned. Ghanaians, to many British patriots, this was unacceptable and, of course, confirmed their fears that the EU project threatened national sovereignty. After who said, no, Debbie, going to join EU, no, and you're just joining EU, Debbie. Not just say, we are sovereign nation. Why must we surrender our powers to the European Union? Because the moment you go under European Union, that's, the individual states do not or no longer have their self-power and sovereignty. You've surrendered. And one person, looking at all of the above, some people began to figure that the entire process was part of a hidden agenda, working toward the idea of one world government, one world religion, and one world army. Concept long spoken in the biblical prophecy. For such observers, the European Union was not just a political or economic project, but rather a step in a larger global design that threatened the sovereignty of nations and the freedom of their people. When we say the Nipa between, of course, say the Bruni Twene. When we say no, I deal with the European Union, one more champion, so deal with, I deal here, and one back some our Bible, Nina Rubet Tracy into Revelation 13 and more. Yes, sir. The European Union is championing the biblical prophecy of the one world religion, the one world army, and one world government. No? And they could see clear there are certain elements within the system. They listen to God and God speaks to them in many ways. And they know, say no. So man, sorry, entia Britain. That the British going to European Union that's at the assembly. And this is what they did to save Britain, and that was the Brexit. Nigel Farage was one of the most vocal figures against mass immigration, warning that uncontrolled borders would undermine Britain's identity and security. Alongside him was who? Boris Johnson. Boris Johnson, then a journalist and later a politician, also emerged as a leading crusader for Brexit. Together, they what? Well, Adia Nigel Farage Bijina Supa ne said immigration in some ni here some can say, oh yes. Say the Konya enipa era Britain if you know Yahomete. Ebio, one say who say all the borders now cover Britain in now so no. Ni now so porous. And there's a need to cover everything. But for Britain to get all of this done, it would be until Britain has exited European Union. And they succeeded. All right? He succeeded. Only later, when they joining them, Boris Johnson. Boris Johnson was a journalist. So we knew more. He was a journalist before obey a politician. And together, they became what? They became a face of a movement that challenged the European Union's what? Open border policies and argue that Britain must take back control of its what? Laws, economy, and what? Frontiers. Sani pay me no. And mo say, see a two about what Britain and one more intellectuals or more Britain can agree with me say, and they are two about Britain. Nigel Farage will win because he has won many seats already. And shocking the Labour and the Conservative for no cry. Yeah, one individual say, no to me dear, a boy Britain. A surviving basic net. All right?
School, Nigerians are not welcomed in most of these countries, and when you check the comments, you saw that even Kenyans are supporting South Africa that Nigerians must leave, and people from Zambia, Botswana, Malawi, they are all supporting South Africans that they should kick Nigerians out of South Africa. In Ghana again, it's just all over, it's just everywhere. The most terrifying video is seeing people being sent out of the hospital. Where I know everyone has seen that video where they would go into a hospital and ask, if you are not South African, you should just stand up and leave. There was even a pregnant woman and one that was holding, oh my goodness. Some of those videos are really terrifying. Now you come to Ghana again, you see all of this Nigerian must go. I'm beginning to think that if it is a retaliation of the Ghana must go that happened in the past, unfortunately Nigeria did not start that. Yes, firstly it was the Ghanaian government after 1969 that issued an order, a mandatory order that saw almost 140,000 Nigerians expelled from Ghana. They left Ghana. They called them undocumented immigrants after 1969. Then, in 1983, recently, 1983 is it's not even recently, it's about 41 years ago, 42 years ago, 1983. Nigerian government retaliated by expelling over 1 million Ghanaians from Nigeria. That was what brought about the Ghana must go. That has been, that bad Ghana must go. This is not laughable, please. All of us are people from a nation, people from black race. So nothing funny about whatever that is happening. And lately in Ghana, or should I talk about South Africa first? Okay, in South Africa currently, seeing all of those videos making runs where they were asking people to leave the hospitals. They claim that it was the public hospitals, that the public healthcare should only be accessible to the locals, to the South Africans, not to foreigners. The foreigners should access private clinics, private pharmacies, in quote. I began to wonder if healthcare services are not just free to anyone in South Africa. Though I tried to make my research, I went online to search first what the president is talking about regarding this incident that is currently trending in South Africa. Their president was really busy talking about Afrikaners. There is a town in South Africa, or near, these particular people, they are seeking for their Cape independence. They are seeking for a country of their own. They are all white South Africans. They have their own currency. They have their own language. Wodemaya on this YouTube visited that part of South Africa recently. He made a video about it. These are white South Africans. They don't allow outsiders to come into their town, the arena. They are called the Afrikaners. So their president was really busy criticizing those, the Afrikaners, who were planning to seek asylum in the US, and they claim that, I don't know if they are no longer South Africans or something like that, because I was expecting him to say something regarding this hospital palavers, people being asked out of the hospital, sick people, and when normal people or healthy people do not go to the hospitals. Then I made my findings again, because currently in the UK, if you are a taxpayer, you can access the NHS, depending on the kind of job. Students can also access the NHS because they pay health surcharge. Those who are not healthcare workers can also access public healthcare services, the NHS, because they are paying their due taxes in this very country. So I was like, are tax-paying immigrants not allowed access in South Africa to public healthcare services? Now, look at what their constitution says. Section 27(1) of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, 1999, clearly stated that everyone has the right to have access to healthcare services. This right is not subject to an individual's nationality or immigration status. So everybody should have access to healthcare services in South Africa. Can illegal immigrants get free healthcare in South Africa? Again, all people in South Africa, regardless of nationality, legal status, race, gender, age, income level, or geographical location, are entitled to access basic healthcare services. This includes South African citizens, refugees, and asylum seekers. I think they are talking about the public health services. Remember, in the hospital, they were asking people to leave. Some said that they want them to be accessing the private sectors, private healthcare sectors, going to the pharmacies to pay for their medication, private hospitals, private clinics, that the government owned should be meant for the locals. But you see what their constitution said. Furthermore, do foreigners pay at public hospitals in South Africa? Non-South Africans pay for their healthcare services, just as South Africans do. Furthermore, non-South Africans are either subject to the same means, tax hospital fees, or they are subject to the highest fees. That means they pay even much higher when accessing the public healthcare services. Why are they getting this kind of treatment? In the past, it was xenophobia. I don't want to say I don't know why people are going to South Africa. Far from it, because it's an African country. There should even be an open border to all African countries, But seeing this among people of the same race, people of the same color, is terrifying, So we should not be complaining about racism in the Western world, because this is just the height of it happening in African countries. Look at Ghana, look at South Africa, what is happening. You go to the comment section, other African countries are in support of this, kicking against Nigeria. Nigeria should leave. I feel like an outcast when I see all of them videos. Though the case in South Africa is not just Nigerians alone, they are also asking Zimbabweans to leave South Africa. I don't want to say the word again that I heard one of them used, And so if you know any particular reason as to why this is happening, why South Africans are doing this to foreigners in their land. The other day, it was a truckload of Somalian refugees that they were sending out of the country. This is not nice. I need to know the reasons why these things are happening. Why are we against ourselves? Color against color. What is happening exactly? Because what I have read out now in the Constitution is entirely different from what they are saying and what they have claimed. The government is not saying anything, unless the government has said. I have no idea. I would love to read that in the comment section. If you try to comment and it's not letting you comment, or maybe it comes up with hype, please just hype the video, click out of this video, come back to it. The comment section will be open for you to drop your comment. Okay, I would just love to learn the reasons all of this are happening. Then in Ghana, precisely, coming to what is happening in Ghana, I was thinking that it was a retaliation of the Ghana must go that happened in 1983 in Nigeria. Far from it, Ghana started this first after 1969, like I stated earlier, when they sent Nigerians out of the country in their numbers, and then Nigeria retaliated. I don't know, this particular one they are doing now. It is something that I cannot explain, because they are claiming that Nigerians are corrupting their citizens, Ghanaians. Nigerians are bringing social unrest, leading their women into prostitution. Insecurity is just at it. Are they just only Nigerians in Ghana, if I may ask? Are there no other African countries in that Ghana? I can't say precisely, but then I think the issue of immigration in Ghana resurfaced again in the 2020s, maybe 2022, 2023 again, when in Ghana, they targeted Nigerian-owned businesses. They got destroyed, most of their businesses. It was on the news about 1 or 2 years ago. Then it became an outrage in Abuja, Nigeria, when they accused Ghana of xenophobia. Since then, this has never ever calmed down. Instead, every now and then, we keep hearing Ghanaians in Ghana, targeting Nigerians, dealing with them, their properties, their businesses, accusing them of a whole lot of unacceptable behaviors, and series of allegations of some Nigerians in Ghana, trafficking young women from Nigeria to Ghana and then from Ghana to Europe. And they said some of the local women in Ghana were also involved in this, as in they are also sending out Ghanaian ladies to the Europe. On the contrary, guys, Daily Trust just reported this, that just this month we had the biggest arrest in Ghana by the American FBI involving 8 Ghanaians in cyber fraud against Americans. 8 arrests. Anyway, you might want to find out this. Check on Daily Trust and see for yourself. It didn't say 8 Ghanaian Nigerians. It said 8 Ghanaians arrested by the FBI, not Nigerians. Because when this is happening, it appears as if I am not siding Nigerians. I know, a lot of dirty deals are happening in my own country. Kidnapping is common, insecurity is just at its, but the law should take its course. If you apprehend anybody involved in a crime, why not arrest the person rather than expurging the whole nation, asking them to leave a country because a couple of people decided not to be good? It doesn't make any sense to me, And lately there was a news when an Ezendibo in Ghana actually said or proposed buying some acres of land where he would build Igbo village in Ghana. That actually, caused another propaganda in Ghana that Nigerians are trying to take over their land or something like that. When you come to Ghana, in the past, they had more number of houses from the northern part of Nigeria, followed by the Yorubas. The Igbos started coming recently, for business establishment and all of that, especially when their currency started, going higher and higher. Though there is inflation and hardship in Ghana currently because their currency is this way. Everybody knows that the inflation level is this. For that notwithstanding, this is one of the problems with the Easterners. My own people, I am from the eastern part of Nigeria. We are people that are so selfless. Anywhere we go in the world, we like to establish that place. We are light bearers. We like to call that place our home, build our own mansions. That shouldn't be an offense. Hence, it's something that the government would allocate a land to such set of people to establish their village, Igbo village. At least there is also Chinese village here in the UK. There is one in Lagos as well. Chinese, anywhere they go, they usually have this Chinese village. In every other city, in Manchester, I've been to Chinese village. I hope they have one in London, and people are happy. Foreigners are happy to give these other foreigners places to establish this thing. I remember in my country then, I think in Abuja, there was a time it trended online that there was this Chinese supermarket in Abuja opened by a Chinese or Chinese people, and only Chinese people were allowed access to trade, to buy from that shop. That triggered a kind of protest then. I don't know what our government did. That is not right. You can't be a foreigner in another man's land and you open something like a church or a hospital or a supermarket and claim that it is just for your people, by your people alone. That is unacceptable. But if it is something like, I know Nigerians the way they are. If they make something like, okay, this is Nigerian village, Igbo village, definitely other people are allowed to come and see. Possibly the Igbo village might be for their meetings, for their celebrations and all of that. So that shouldn't have been something that would have triggered more of this social unrest in Ghana. A nation asking another to leave. People of the same race. Generally, in all of these hate on Nigerians, people shouting Nigeria should go, Nigerians should leave, South Africa, Ghana, and all of this. I blame our governments, because if we had a suitable and functional government, if our leaders were responsible as they should have been, I think Nigerians should have been able to settle fully in our country, develop our country. Particularly the Easterners that keep traveling and developing anywhere, even in other part of Nigeria where they settle, because when you come to Nigeria in general, the eastern part of Nigeria, I don't know, they are totally marginalized. You have seen what happened in the last election that should have seen Peter Obi as the president, and then they just planted somebody there to become our president. So automatically some people were disenfranchised, denied the right to vote. They never voted. Whatever they did, their votes were just thrown to the bin. Leaders have never been fairly chosen in my country. You come to the east, people from east would travel far and wide if you are traveling to a place like maybe UK, you have to travel all the way from east, road transportation, no railways that you could take from east to Lagos, from east to the northern part of Nigeria. But in Lagos, they got railways long time ago, you know. And if you go to the north, they have one that goes from Abuja to that. But in the eastern part of Nigeria, there is nothing like that. The insecurity thing there is increasing day and night. I'm not only talking about the eastern part of Nigeria. In the north, we saw it happen. The Boko Haram thing there, you know, the Chibok girls and a whole lot, though they say that one was staged and all of that, whatever it is still happening in the northern part of Nigeria, kidnapping, in the eastern part of Nigeria, incessant killings. This is why you see a lot of Nigerians are fleeing the country, even the rich and the middle class. They are living in their numbers because we have some set of useless leaders, brainless leaders. Tell me a country that her presidents will leave her own country and fly to a different country and go and die in the hospital. It is only in Nigeria. You know, isn't that shameful that they claim that our ex-president died in London? Whereas they have hospitals in Aso Rock, they spent billions and millions of naira to erect that hospital. Yet, our leaders are flying to abroad for healthcare treatments. You can imagine. So this is why you see our people staying away from, look at our currency now. A pound is currently 2,000 or 2,000 plus. I haven't checked the exchange rate lately. You know, it's just a sad situation. You are traveling, you are worried. I saw somebody yesterday talking about taking the night bus from Lagos to the east. My heart went... that Nigerians are still strong, taking the risk of traveling, embarking on night journeys from Lagos to East, from Abuja to East. Oh my goodness, with all of this that is happening, you know, shame to our government, shame to our leaders. They have failed us. Look at how we are being ridiculed everywhere in the world. We are just like outcasts. People that are unacceptable. Nigerians should leave Ghana. Nigerians should leave South Africa. All other blacks are supporting this. In the comment section of one of the videos I saw, people from even the Zimbabweans, people from Malawi, I saw Kenyan, I saw Botswana. And they will put their country. I am from Botswana and I support South Africa. Nigerians should go. I am from Kenya. I support South Africa. And I said, what is this? What is this? This is really bad. I felt chilled watching and reading comments. You know, it is well. Please like my video.
All right. A lot have been said here, right? Let me just laugh and laugh out loud because this is the joke of the century. The first lady at the end of the day, let's start with her, narrating and even quoting the constitution of other countries, the constitution of South Africa, what it states and what it doesn't state. And these are people at the end of the day that will still come back and blame their government and still expose the reason by themselves with their mouth why they are rejected by all these other African countries. Make this make sense if it is nothing short of hypocrisy, lies, and deceit. Like at this point, believe you me when I tell you, or which Chimdi tells you that 9 out of every Nigerian is mentally unstable. And that is where the problem lies. The problem does not lie with all these hypocrisy, lies, and deceit that they put out there, making rounds and changing the narrative, victimizing other African countries, seeing the wrongs, you know, from other African countries, feeling victimized, playing the victim. Whereas in a real sense, these are the people that are the real problem in Africa and why Africa would hardly or can hardly unite. Left with other countries, I beat my chest to tell you, exception to Nigeria and Zimbabwe, right? If you bring other African countries today, it will be so easy for other Africans, for all Africans to unite. But you see Nigeria and mostly Zimbabwe, these two countries, and a bit of, you know, Cameroon, these countries in Africa, these 3 countries, maybe someone that I don't know, particularly Nigeria. Why I say emphasis on particular Nigeria. Nigeria's own is that they know their problem. They know they are a problem. They know they are exporting crime. They are constituting nuisance. They are a disgrace. They are a reproach, an embarrassment, nuisance to all these countries. But the point is they hide in their lies. They can't come out and accept and say, okay, we know we have this and we are the problem. Never can you see a Nigerian say it. Apart from we or myself and Chimdi that most times come out to, you know, accept that this is whom we are. This is our nature. We are the problem. We are the issue. Look at this lady quoting the constitution of South Africa for South Africans, citing, you know, the issue of Orania in South Africa. talking about racism, talking about discrimination. Meanwhile, in Nigeria, you heard when she said there is racism, tribalism, discrimination. You heard her indicting and blaming the government when she is even the number one problem of Nigeria, for not even knowing that she is a problem or we are the problem, and our problem is affecting these countries because we are exporting our problems to them. If I keep saying this, if we as Nigerians are committing all these crimes in Nigeria, right? You won't see all these countries, just like she rightly pointed out, even other African countries are supporting South Africa, they are supporting Ghana. Why wouldn't they support? Because Nigerians are also there. It's because most of them have not gotten, the courage as South Africans, Ghanaians have stood against Nigerians to say enough. Most of them have not come out. I bet you if all these other countries come out to say, Botswana, the rest of them, Uganda, to say, you people come on, Nigerians are doing the unthinkable, then you will now know, or Nigerians will now understand the gravity and the weight of their disease, their virus, their venom in all these countries they find themselves. Why can't you people, madam, why can't you people carry your energy back to Nigeria and build your country? Look at her, she's in the UK and she's talking. All of them talking, ranting on the media, all outside Nigeria. But I beat my chest as a Nigerian living in Nigeria to tell you that I can stand today to talk and criticize and call out our country citizen because I am in Nigeria. I wear the shoes. I know where it's hurting. All of them have run away and they are, all out there talking from different corners of their mouth, different sides of their mouth. Why won't my brother Kweku from Ghana say Ecowas is useless, citing the instance he gave in Britain? What is the usefulness of Ecowas? Because I don't know, South Africans, correct me. I wanted to research on that. I believe South Africans are outside Ecowas. They're not under Ecowas because you must get visas. If all countries are like South Africans, visa granted, visa denied, you will see. But even at that, you still see how they still, illegally troop into these countries. Through the corrupt system, as a matter of fact, into these countries, especially Nigerians and Zimbabweans. Particularly Nigerians. One thing about Zimbabweans is that they know their problem. They know their government is a problem. I see their creatives come out to accept that. They know their problem. They identify, they don't deny it. Nigerians are criminals, liars, hypocrites, bunch of confused set of people, mentally deranged, mentally unstable people. We come here and talk about love, oneness, and unity. How can there be love, oneness, and unity when you are the one causing chaos, causing problems? You were quick, madam, to talk about point out the crimes of Ghanaians, just like very dark man. Foolish people, the fraud. Why didn't you use that energy and talk about the fraud, the killings, the unaliving, the kidnapping, the illogical work of Nigerians in Ghana, in South Africa, pushing drugs, selling powder and all the rest? But you were too quick to remember what was, to remember and state the crimes of Ghanaians. Look at them. Animals. You can open your mouth and call out other people when you are the worst. The crimes of Ghanaians in one bit cannot even be measured with that of Nigerians. If we have 100 people committing crime, 80 or 90 are Nigerians, you will only see 10. So merge it. Merge it instead of you to, own up to your sins, own up to your crimes. You are too quick to find out that of Ghana. Who are you to call out Ghana in crime when we are the worst? When we are the worst. That is how they always want to find a way to rob away from their debts, their gullible, dirty behavior. They don't take accountability. What manner of people are these people, for God's sake, Nigerians? God, how on earth did I even find myself in this kind of country? Because I wish I was a Ghanaian. I wish I was a South African. How on earth did I entangle myself with this kind of lunatics? Lunatics and hypocrites. Did you people hear it? Anyways, a lot have been said here. I don't know how Nigerians are created and wired. They are not supposed to be part of this Africa at all. They are causing more harm than good in the continent of Africa. And that is on period. Until Nigerians, continuously, all these countries, chase them back home by fire, by lightning. That is when they will wake up to their realities. They know, they are criminals. They know, they are lying, hypocrites. Look at them. You can't hold your government accountable. You're blaming your government. Meanwhile, your citizens are in all these countries committing all the crime. Like leaders, like citizens. So who is calling who out? Bunch of confused hypocrites, criminals. Anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section, because we will continue to, at the end of the day, let them know why they are being chased out. They don't know. They don't know, or they pretend not to know. They will know and they will learn the hard way until they shun crime and take all this crime back to their country, as in Nigeria, and let them kill and eat themselves there. No problem. That's when they will know and understand why Nigerians are being treated the way they are being treated, and they will continue to treat them. Don't blame South Africans. Don't blame Ghanaians. Once fix your country and put your mess together. I rest my case. Let's talk in the comment section. If you like this video, give it a huge and a massive thumbs up. Stay subscribed if you like it on here. And at the end of the day, share this video for more people to see. I will see you in my next one. Ciao, ciao.